you can see my excitement. Like this is, we already have some pretty cool boondocking places planned and harvest host and stuff like that. It's just gonna be a game changer. So last time we talked, we had just arrived in Quartzsite, Arizona. We had only planned on being here for a week. We're going on week 6 now, and we've never done any like extended boondocking, dry camping ever, more than like 2 or 3 days. And so we're actually surprised that we've made it this long. But we came out here originally for the RV show, and at the RV show, we ended up coming across some deals on some lithium batteries that we really wanted from Lion Energy. They are a great product, something that I had researched and I really wanted, and they had some refurbished ones that had a full warranty on them at a discounted price. So we scooped up 3, kind of wishing I would have scooped up 4. But so we got 3 of those, and then we also ended up picking up a Victron Multi Plus 3000, which is like an inverter converter. It's just a really cool product that I really wanted for RV. Not just for dry camping, but for also when we're in parks and we're on 30 amp. So we're a 50 amp RV, and a lot of times when we have to dog bone down to 30 amp, we end up tripping breakers, especially when we're running the hair dryer, you know, for the beard and all that. And so yeah, so we wanted this Victron Multi Plus because it does load sharing and it'll pull energy from our batteries when we need it. So this is like my dream setup. So yeah, so we came here for just to go tour an RV show. We ended up coming out with an entire solar setup. So this is going to change the game for us going forward, and you can see my excitement. Like this is, we already have some pretty cool boondocking places planned and harvest host and stuff like that. Last year we spent 270 nights in 1,000 Trails. We love our 1,000 Trails membership, but when we weren't in 1,000 Trails, we ended up seeing the real cost of RVing. Like, and so then we were kind of limited by where we can go because we're a family on a budget. And so we found that dry camping is something that we absolutely love. We picked up some products and we finally got to use all this stuff, and we just cannot be more excited to just be out here. I brought it in because it's a little bit windy outside, but I just want to go over our solar setup real quick. So we opted for 4 200-watt panels, and they all have tilting brackets. Now the biggest thing with the tilting brackets is in the winter months we can tilt our panels, or if our trailer is positioned awkwardly from the sun for some reason, depending on what location we're at, if we need to, we can tilt them up and put more watts into the panels, which will then put more amps to our batteries. Now with our components, we went with all Victron components, and the biggest reason why we decided to go with that was because number 1, they look cool, but number 2, it all runs off of the same app, which makes life a little bit simple for me because I can go in there into that one app, I can see what's going on with our batteries, inverter, converter, all that stuff, solar charge controller, I can see how many watts and amps and stuff we're pulling in from the roof. So another cool thing about this Victron setup is if we have any issues with it going down the road, because we're not always near a place that installs solar, or maybe we are near a place that installs solar, but maybe they don't have technicians that are trained or knowledgeable on our particular setup, I can plug my laptop in and someone like that could remote in and adjust whatever settings that need to be adjusted and tell me what's going on. So that's huge because we're not always near places where, you know, people know what they're doing when it comes to solar. So that's one of the biggest selling points of Victron for me, as well as the app and stuff. And you know, they're well known. You can read all the reviews about them all over the internet, and they're just good quality, good built components. We opted for 3 Line Energy 105 amp hour batteries. They're lithium. I know everybody has their own opinions on lithium. We opted to go for them because they're priced right. And number two, they're lightweight. And we're in a travel trailer. We don't really have room for a lot of extra weight. I think our cargo carrying capacity is only like 1,500 pounds, so we have to be weight conscious at all times. So we opted to go with these lithium batteries. Another cool benefit about them though is they can be drained down all the way, so I can take them down 100 amp hours or 105 amp hours, I guess, each. But with three of them, we have 315 amp hours of usable energy in our battery bank, where our old setup we had 200 amp hour AGM batteries, and AGMs can only go down, I guess the rule is like 50%, so we only had about 100 amp hours of usable energy, and that was kind of limiting because even with our furnace on during when it's cold outside, we typically lose about 20 amp hours overnight. And so we had to kind of calculate that in, and in order for us to build up our AGM battery bank to meet our needs, we would have been putting a lot of weight into our trailer. So with these lithiums though, they're lightweight, they're powerful. I don't have to worry about them. The deepest discharge with them so far has been, I think, around 225 amp hours. And that's with the outdoor fridge plugged in. That's with all of our outlets going, computers, tablets, TVs going. And that was a day after a cloudy day. I couldn't do that with my AGM, so we're already experiencing the benefits of the lithium batteries. All right, enough of me talking. Let me introduce you to the guy who installed this entire setup. He's the brains behind all this, and here he is. All right, this is Aaron from Jones in the Travel. You might know his channel on YouTube, and he also owns a company called the Mobile RV Tech.
Yep, that's me.
I got it right.
The Mobile RV Tech.
He has a website. I'll put a link down below, but we met Aaron at out here at Quartzsite. He came out to do some work on our friend's batteries. He upgraded some cables, and we had already bought our batteries ourselves, and we also bought the inverter. But after talking with Aaron, it turns out he actually installs a lot of Victron components, and I saw his quality work, and I was like, yeah, this is the guy I want installing my solar. So I requested a quote, and it was a fair price, and so we decided to go with the solar.
Yeah, and we did a couple back and forths, just kind of planning out the system, and Corey came to me with what he thought he needed, and got him to a system that I think is well balanced for the size rig they have, the size of their family, how they're using their power when they're boondocking, and we've tested it.
Oh, yeah.
Over the past, week or so, 2 weeks maybe?
Yes.
And so it's kind of cool.
It's a pretty neat setup, and Aaron did a phenomenal job with the install. The cables, if you look at the cables, they're all quality cables. Tell us about the battery cables. They're welding wire, correct?
Yeah, so I use welding wire all the way from a number 4 wire up to 4/0. So in Corey's system, we did 4/0 cables. We just want to make sure we have plenty of cable for the current, and the welding cable is awesome because it's super fine wire, so you have a lot of surface area inside that shell to be able to carry that current, so it works really well. And then we pulled number 4 welding wire down from the roof of the solar panels, and same concept, it's just much smaller, but it's got a lot of wire inside to carry the current, so makes it work really well with the RV systems that we put in.
Yeah, it's awesome. And when if we ever do expand on the setup, we'll be able to do that with peace of mind, knowing that we have the right cables going down. So
yeah, I try to design my systems from the beginning to give someone the ability to expand. Really difficult right out of the gate to know exactly what you need, and so he's got the space to add at least 1 or 2 more batteries. He's got the space on the roof to add a couple more panels, and so this system can grow as the family grows, or as demands grow different parts of the year. So they're gonna have to live with it for a while and just see how it works for them, and then we can go from there. But I think we're pretty balanced.
I'm ready for a couple more batteries, but I'm getting a dirty look from Jody right now.
You can always have more, right?
Yes. And another cool thing is we started off with a Zamp portable panel, and Aaron incorporated that in our setup. So I like that portable panel because if we are underneath some trees or anything like that, I can get that panel out and away, and it's easy plug-in, and it still works. That panel typically pulls in between 7 and 8 amps into our batteries, which we typically use during the day anywhere between 10 to 15 amps, so it kind of counters our usage during the day. But you mix that with our other panels, we're charging. Yeah. So
they've got a couple skylights built into their coach, which is really nice. That's what I'm under now. That's why I'm so bright. So they don't have to use as much lighting during the day as maybe we do because we don't have the skylights. So it's, it's all coach dependent. So, you know, I get a lot of people ask, how much solar do I need? Well, it's all going to depend on these factors we're talking about. So reach out, let me know if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer what I can. I can put together estimates for you, put together systems for you. So just let me know if you need any help.
And one of the cool things with him is he's mobile. And so we're full-timers, so obviously we're full-time.
And we are too.
And he is as well. So if we have any problems, we can kind of route plan to him. You do spend some time out here in Quartzsite in the winter months, correct?
Yeah, we're usually out here 2 or 3 months, December through usually March, first part of April sometimes. So we're out here at least a couple months.
And do you do installs outside of Quartzsite, or?
Yeah, so like Corey mentioned, I can meet up with you. I've done installs on our route somewhere else, like, you know, through northern Arizona, through different states. So yeah, we can definitely coordinate something if you want to get something done sooner than next winter. Yeah.
So one of the cool things for us is like, we didn't plan on getting a solar setup when we got here to Quartzsite, but we just fell in love with the freedom of boondocking, dry camping. We actually came out over to this campground that he's at. It's a BLM long-term campground, and it has water, sewer, and trash. And so that makes life a little bit easier. We parked nearby, and it just happened we parked nearby him. When I looked at the Wi-Fi, I saw Jones to Travel. I was like, well, we're a little close. This is kind of creepy. But as he did the install, we just pulled up right next to his rig, and we got to make things a little bit easier on him and us as well, because we have a dog with us, and we have day-to-day life going, and these installs can take a few days.
Yeah, it took us about 3 days.
3 days, and it wasn't that bad at all, because we had power almost every single day, and we were able to live our normal life. We didn't have to go into a motel or anything like that, or worry about the dog. He worked around us, and we're grateful for that. You know, greatly appreciate that. And I'm sure he's waiting for us just to move spots now, because we've been hanging out after. But
actually, I like it this way because you guys are really close. If I forget a tool or something, I'm right next door, and it's easier on both of us. And I try to work around your normal life. So if you need power for certain times of the day, you know, we work around that. And we did a lot of stuff with Corey, these guys, later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So their day was done. They didn't need, you know, necessarily need power or anything. So yeah, it's definitely easier when you're close. And yeah, we got to get to know each other. We had a meal, you know, we get to hang out. So it's all good.
Yeah, this is cool. Like, no, we're very appreciative of all that. So
and it's nice to be able to have this freedom, you know, and that's what they're learning right now with the solar, is how much freedom you can actually have full timing. You don't have to be in a park all the time. That's why Tina and I have solar. That's why I started doing solar, to help people get out, and you know, you're not dependent on that cord, which is nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has an amazing solar setup too. I'll show a drone shot of his setup here. And
yeah, and if you go to our channel, our YouTube channel, Jones to Travel, I've got a whole video series on lithium batteries and our solar setup and how I installed it and all that. So go check those videos out, and then let me know there on the comments if you have any questions, and that's a good platform for us to communicate.
Yes, because I can't explain this stuff the way he can. I can promise you that. All I know is
just takes practice.
We watch TV at night, and everything runs. Outdoor fridge runs off of the batteries. Like, this is going to be a game changer. We have a lot of things planned this year that as far as boondocking, dry camping, harvest hosting, and we can just live normal. And so this was a great investment for us and for our family, and we just couldn't find a better person to install it, you know. So
thank you.
So that's our setup. So if you're curious, like, what does something like this cost? For us, when I did the numbers, it was going to be about 150 to 155 nights of dry camping, boondocking, for this to pay for itself. When you look at what we pay on average when we're outside of our 1,000 trails for campgrounds. And it's also going to just help when we are in 1,000 trails and we're on 30 amp and all that stuff. So this is going to pay for itself pretty quick. I know by the time we leave Quartzsite, we're already like 40 to 45 days of dry camping, and we already have some harvest hosts and stuff planned. So we're looking forward to that. If you have any recommendations on places to camp, dry camp, boondock, even like some federal lands, like I know some of the national forest lands, they have national forest campgrounds that don't have any power hookups or anything like that. Please put them in the comments below. Let us know, like, any campground you have recommendations for, put them in the comments below. We're always looking for recommendations. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you down the road.